guys, welcome to our review for Hellraiser, the remake on Hulu. It's fucking October. I can't believe it already. It feels like it's still September. Okay, it is October, so it's spooky Halloween time. And guys, Hellraiser, I fucking love it. Hulu has another hit on their hands. Get the fuck out of here. Hulu did well with Prey. Hulu did well with one other. There was one other in there that they did. Fuck. And then I can confirm, as a big fan of Hellraiser and as an admitted fan of all the shitty movies that came after Hellraiser 2. I mean, look at these scores. I'll show you some of the scores. It's like Hellraiser 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think they got. One even got a 0 rotten %. So this franchise has been fucking run into the ground with some real stinkers. And I was very, very worried. But I'm here to tell you, I fucking love it. It's fucking gross. It's fucking gory. It's bloody. They don't fucking shy away from anything. It's very lore accurate. They lean into the elements of hell and the lore of it, and the box is even expanded upon. I think they do a great job. It's everything that I wanted from a Hellraiser reboot, except for maybe one thing. I think they could have done one thing a little bit better. But, when you're hitting on all cylinders like this, and considering all the shit that I'm comparing it to, the 6 films that were absolute trash, it's like, yes, somebody finally understands how to do the Hellraiser franchise. And so we have a great addition to the franchise. So
at this point, what you're at Hellraiser 7, there's nowhere else to go but up, right?
Yeah.
The bar has been set low. No, I actually did really enjoy this one. This is way better than Hocus Pocus 2. Don't watch Hocus Pocus 2.
This Halloween.
This Halloween, watch this one.
Can't really compare the two.
No,
bring your kids to
This is not for children,
This is
Joe.
for kids. This is amazing.
Bring your kids, watch Hellraiser.
I really like the acting, and the actors did a great job. It was well shot. I like the practical effects that they used.
Yes.
It was great. It's like back to the original, so.
Got to give credit to David
was
Bruckner,
good.
directed by, and hey, remember we were worried about David S. Goyer, story by. There were 2 others involved, Ben Collins and Luke Petrolowski, but good on them too, because this was a good story.
Yep.
It was surprisingly long, and I liked it because I'm a big lore, hell fucking razor lore person, and they really flesh out and build this world out. Now, we'll get to Alex. What did you think?
Oh, that was pretty good stuff. I haven't seen Hellraiser 3 through 8 or 7.
They don't get better.
Not worth it.
Yeah, I didn't want to. This one, I think this is one that starts off super strong. I was thinking that this was on par with Hellraiser 1.
Started strong?
Started strong. And then there was some.
I thought it started slow.
And then there was some Goyer stuff towards the end where they kind of drag. It felt like it dragged on at certain parts of the movie, and it kind of sputtered a little bit. But I think it ended in kind of a satisfying way. And other than a few little things that I don't quite, I'll have to ask you about. Wait, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why does this happen?
Ask me.
But the atmosphere was good. There was some. They do the thing where they try to it stops being a Hellraiser movie for a second, and then it's like, I'm dealing with my problems, okay? And some of those scenes were a little almost silly to the backdrop of this Hellraiser movie. Mm-hmm. But it was fine. I'm not gonna take points away from them. It wasn't great acting, but it was fine.
Yeah, so this new Hellraiser, obviously, in a lot of the previous Hellraisers, you have a group of, those films, you just find a bunch of teenagers and fucking young adults that are annoying and you fucking kill them, right? That's the formula. And so it can be considered the weakest part of these films would be these disposable protagonists and kids that you kill off. What did you guys think of these guys?
I liked them.
Yeah. They fleshed them out, each one. They kind of do a few twists here and there for a few of them, which makes their characters a little more complex, and I liked that.
Yeah, and I liked the way
ended up liking it.
I liked the way that it kind of made her continue the puzzle, made her like obsessed with it, as opposed to like it's like, why you keep doing this?
Yeah, why would
I
you keep,
believe-
why would you keep
I
touching
believe I believed Riley's story.
Yeah, and you know what? At first I was like, "Oh, okay, I get it. They're doing a throwback. They're making them annoying, and they're making them like okay, they're just disposable." But as the film went along, they went from the nostalgic kind of these are disposable to okay,
You're rooting for
you're
them.
all right. You're all right. I liked the characters. They're not stellar by any means, but I liked them. So. What else?
Yeah, I've seen terrible horror movie acting, and this is by far the best.
Oh my God, the kind of shit that this is fucking pro level shit compared to. What
Yeah,
you've
it
seen.
is. That's
Yeah.
what it's like. I got no gripes with that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's jump into final verdicts then. If we basically told you, I think it's a great horror. It has great atmosphere.
Great effects.
Good effects. It does not shy away. The change from black leather to just pure skin being pulled this way and
Makes
fucking
sense.
gross when you touch it. It's just fucking nasty. And then fucking wires. Man, this shit is Hellraiser. And then there's fucking. They got the Hellraiser logo, and then it goes into a sex scene, and I'm like, this is fucking Hellraiser. This is exactly how Hellraiser is. I think that was the second film where it just starts with them fucking, because back in the 80s and 90s, those films were just an
Of
excuse
course.
to show them titties around. But yeah, so I'm like, hey man, this thing is throwing back in all of the areas. It's not shying away from what it is. And then it delved deep into the lore. And got into the Leviathan stuff, got into the puzzle box stuff, got into the Cenobite stuff. Just good. Really, really good. Took all the best ideas of all of the films over the 8 things, except for one, which I think is still worth exploring. And it's longer, and I think this works as a self-contained film. If we never see another one, I think it still works. I would rewatch this one, in Halloween time. Though I would like to see a sequel. I would like to see a sequel. I think there's one final scene in the film. It's not after the credits. It's just the final scene that may be setting something up, but it could just be. We'll talk about it in the spoilers. So let's go with final verdicts.
Go ahead.
Oh, one more thing. You gotta give some. We got to talk a little bit about Doug Bradley, which obviously is the old Pinhead. So that. Doug Bradley's Pinhead is still, in my opinion, the quintessential Pinhead. Mm-hmm. This new lady, she does a great job, and I like her. But if there's one part of the movie that I said is kind of missing, it's kind of the personality of Pinhead. This Pinhead is more like one of the Cenobites rather than
A standout.
And that dark charisma that Doug Bradley has cannot be duplicated by her. And so instead they do a better job of raising the other Cenobites to have their own little things that they do in order to strengthen that. Now, she does a great job. I just think Doug Bradley and then this Pinhead and then other Pinheads that we shall never talk about. So she does a great job, but her personality meter needs to maybe ramped up, and we can do that in a sequel if they ever do it. So, and I want to get her name, Jamie Clayton. She does a great job, but I still do think that Doug is legendary. And they actually offered Doug a role in this, but he declined it. So it kind of sucks because I would love, maybe he looked at the script and said there's no real way, unless they were going to write something specifically for Doug, I would love for Doug to be in, I'll talk about it in spoilers, who he could possibly be. And maybe there's still a door open for it. But maybe Doug was trying to do the right thing where it's like, no, I'm going to let you be your own and do your own. And maybe it's a wait and see approach. We'll see. So anyway, because there's been so many bad Hellraisers, and he was a part of so many bad, like he was the only good thing in him. So when they come to him with motherfucking Crocodile Dundee 3, is that all you can give me? You know, that kind of shit. That was a skit a long time ago and something. He was like, nah, I'm going to wait and see maybe, because I would love to see Doug come back. Anyways, let's go to final verdicts.
I like this. I think that they were really like kind of delving into the lore, and then there's this really kind of cool house that they go into.
Yeah.
And I kept getting these 13 Ghost vibes.
Yeah.
And like that, like the Tony Shalhoub movie that is totally not very good, but I love it for some reason.
They do add a good dimension of that, like the building kind of being a puzzle box in itself.
Yeah. And so there's some cool stuff going on here. And I was really kind of hoping they would stick with that, and then they kind of go outside and they get in the car, and then I think that there were some scenes that just like, dude, if you stay in the house has such a better atmosphere. Like they brought the tension really far up, and then let the steam out of the room a little bit, and then they ramped it back up. But I did enjoy it. I think the atmosphere is good. I think the sound effects are good. Some of the acting is kind of crazy in the scenes where they're talking about like non-Hellraiser stuff, like I don't want your life kind of scenes that you get in these movies. I think for a Hellraiser movie, I still think that I prefer Hellraiser 1 and 2 to this, just because they're like classics from the childhood. But this one definitely has a place in the pantheon. I think
Even
this one,
2.
Yeah,
It's hard. It's I gotta go back and rewatch 2.
It's just one of those things that it's like, I watched them so many times. I think we had it on VHS, and so it doesn't have that thing. But this deserves a place up at the top of the table because I think they did a really good job with this. I was expecting Goyer to kind of fuck it up, but
they didn't fuck it up.
Yeah, so didn't fuck it up. I'm gonna say that this is
8.
I was thinking 7 or 8. I don't know.
8.
I don't know.
Joe, what are you thinking? All right, Joe.
Wait.
No, you can't push Alex into 8.
No, I'm gonna,
Come
I'm
on,
gonna go.
no, please. It deserves a look. What the blood, the practical effects, the setup, the
It
lore.
felt like they nerfed the Cenobites. I didn't want to talk about it in spoilers. It felt like they nerfed them to a point where I was almost like kind of sucked out of the movie, where they're like, the Cenobites can't get through a cage. And it's like, come on.
Yeah, Cenobites didn't do shit in the fucking previous films either. So this one they actually try to do stuff. All right, it's your rating.
Yeah,
I want to encourage you to an 8. But it's up to you.
I'm gonna say that I'm gonna go with a 7.
Okay.
I'm going to go with an 8. I did like the visuals. I like the practical effects. It's very gory, the blood.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way they use like the environment when opening doors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It kind of takes it back to the original.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure.
The chains.
Did they add for the puzzle, the stabbing?
No. So that's what I was saying. I like that they expand the lore in a few areas that deepens it. And actually now it's like I like this version of the puzzle box better than the original version of the puzzle box. The original version of the puzzle box basically
you solve it.
You solve it. There's not like 5 configurations, I think. There's not that. Yeah, it can transform, but it doesn't transform into different configurations, one right after the other in steps like that, and it doesn't have a blade. If you solve it, you're fucking responsible. But here, it's if you solve it and it cuts you, you're responsible.
Whoever
if you
it
solve
cuts.
it, you can see the Cenobites, and they'll fuck with you, but they got to cut you in order to get you.
Yeah, I like that little aspect as well.
Me too, because you can do things with it.
Yeah, that and you get more killings, which is always great.
Yep.
And they did a great job with this remastering because like usually they fuck it up. Like Chucky. They fucked up Chucky big time.
Chucky is dead to me.
The Chucky TV series is all right, but you're talking about
the movie.
that
The movie.
robot.
The robot
I was like, they fucked it up so bad,
Yeah,
but this
they
one
did.
was better.
They
this
did,
was
you're
way
right.
better. So
Way
I'm
better.
gonna go with an 8.
And I'm gonna go with a 9. Okay. So we got across the board here. It's a great fucking film. I think it's a great addition. I still think Hellraiser 1 is above it with the Doug Bradley and just the newness of it and the grossness of it and that fucking guy in the attic where it's just like it's multiple things. It's the guy in the attic. It's the fucking Hellraiser, Pinhead himself. The idea, and I'm considering it to be on the level of Hellraiser 2. And when I'm like, I need to go back and rewatch it to see, that's a good thing, right? You know, that it could potentially be number 2 in the list. Let us know what you think. Do you think it's watch it when it comes out and see where it ranks. So I think Alex would put it 3rd. I think I would probably put it 2nd.
I'd have to rewatch 2, but I'd
have to rewatch
I
2
may
again.
agree with you. I think it's up there though.
Yeah, so it's a great film. Great job, Hulu. Great job, David Bruckner and Goyer. And I honestly would, if you can keep it on this level, I would like to see it continue, So very, very cool. And then possibly get Doug Bradley involved in some way. So let's go into the spoiler section now. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys. Hey, welcome to the spoiler section. So, yeah, let's talk about it. Go ahead, Alex. Can you help me out?
Yeah, you guys like the changes to the box. I don't know if I love the changes where it's not a personal responsibility thing, where it's more like you can kind of be evil and then someone else solves the box and then you go, haha, it's mine now. I think I like the idea of the Cenobites, you not knowing what it is. Like you're going for like ultimate power, and you find out what the Cenobites version of ultimate power is. So I don't know if I'm completely sold on it. I don't hate it.
I love the new configuration.
I love the new changes.
I could take or leave the actual. It is your responsibility only if you get cut.
Yeah, it felt cheap when someone solved it and went, ah.
Yeah,
and it's like, no,
but I also like the flexibility of that because it opens up new opportunities, which they do use. Yeah. At one point, she uses the Cenobite is trying to get her to complete the rest of the 2 configurations because people have died in the film at this point, and she actually stabs the Chatterer with the box, and the Chatterer gets ripped apart. So
I was like, you can do that?
Yeah. You can do that? And apparently you can. Yeah. So I like these little rules, and the Pinhead's like, God damn it. She's like, yeah. And has to get it. So like really cool. So that's why I excuse that, and I actually love the new puzzle box. It's way more complicated, way more, urethra.
It's a urethra.
Yeah, you don't want. I'm sure the fucking Cenobites will fuck with that area too.
Oh, but we watched a ripping of the ween.
Yeah, it was. What do you call it? Just. Cthulhu, that type
Eldritch
of lore,
horror?
Eldritch horror-ish in that sense.
I just don't like it. So if like you're trying to summon Cthulhu to get like a one ultimate wish, and like the guy next to you like gets like his thumb nicked, and you're like, I get your one wish because the guy you're still on the guy that playing who's been solving this puzzle box for 70 years.
But I like that they'll haunt you too.
Exactly. Well, I do like it though because like
too.
it's also like a sacrifice, and it's just like a cursed box.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They just want to cut the person.
Yeah.
I don't care whether you did it or you did it. I want somebody.
Exactly.
So that's what I like.
You view this like because I haven't watched all the movies. You guys have definitely seen more. I'd never viewed the Cenobites as we just want to indiscriminately torture. We want to torture the ones that want to elevate themselves. Is how I always thought. Like you kind of had to want to go for the forbidden knowledge, and then once you saw that it was forbidden knowledge, you're fucked. It's like a gotcha bitch type thing.
They do that, but in some instances they're like, well, we'll just take you too, because they don't fucking care in that sense. But that does heighten it, and that does make it even cooler. Yeah. So at the beginning we're in Serbia. He has an assistant who buys the box. And so this is a rich guy, essentially, who is obsessed with it. And I really like this. It deepens the lore. He's done so much research, in fact, that he's built his entire fucking mansion as a way to honor it, but then also, try to dominate it. He's just on his own fucking path. He's a force to reckon with himself. And he has, people solve it for him. She lures people in. I'm not really sure how she's luring people, but I think the initial guy was a prostitute, maybe?
Oh, that's the final guy. That's number 7. He's the one who got it to Leviathan.
Yeah, because at the beginning, you remember that sleeveless guy in the party, and so he gets killed first. And we're like, and we've seen it in a configuration that it's about to go to Leviathan, where he'll get an audience with Leviathan. But we don't actually get to see the conclusion of that. We just see the chains come out, and every time they do the chains, it's excellent, and it is murderous and torturous. Just the screams are perfect in the film, and it needs to be because especially if it's screaming from off screen, you're like, fuck, man, they're just doing some shit to him right now. And then later on in this film, at the very end, you see the shit that they do to you. And they do not cut away from it. You see that shit. And that's the way it should be.
Have you ever got
Thank
one of
you,
those
Disney.
Thank
you, Disney.
I know what you're talking about.
You ever got one little hanging thing on the side of your thumb, and you go to pull it, and it goes like all the way up?
That's your whole body.
It's like your whole body, and you're just like, ah.
No.
That's what those scenes were.
Think
they
about
were great.
it.
They were great scenes.
So we watched this on Disney. I'm not fucking joking. This is the grossest, most goriest, most bloodiest thing Disney has ever released, and I'm here for it. Technically, Hulu is owned by Disney, but it was on Disney debut when we watched it, so it's crazy. Good on you. More like this. Anyways, but then we cut away from that plot. So we don't know what happened to the rich guy. So now we go to our teenagers to get killed, right? There's your fucking, she's got a new boyfriend. Her brother is an overprotective mother. And he's like, well, I don't like this guy. Get a fucking job. And, of course, they're little criminals, right? What do they do?
Yeah, they go rob a warehouse. He delivers art, is what he says, and he found a warehouse where there's just a unit. And he's like, some billionaire probably left it there. We could easily go get it.
Abandoned.
And it's abandoned type thing. And
I actually love this twist because it's like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Why would they just stop? I need to know what happened. And so you're thinking, okay, the whole time it's like they just tried to close it within a shipping container, within a safe, and they make it seem like it's done. But no, it turns out that the boyfriend was hired by...
Yeah, he's hired by the rich guy. And, you know, you will go back and you think about the original scenes of them getting the box, and you're like, all right, I guess it kind of works
now it
together.
all makes sense, and I like that it deepened what we had seen before, rather than it just being that stupid, typical character turn that doesn't really amount to anything. Here, the character turn does actually develop Riley's character even more, because I do think that he did feel sorry and start to catch feelings for her, even though she was just supposed to be a mark. But eventually, he convinces her to go with him to rob it, and she's the one that takes the object.
Mm-hmm.
She starts figuring out the puzzle.
Yeah, she figures out the puzzle in a park, but I was like, yeah, this has to happen at some point. The blade misses her. She gets lucky, but she had taken some drugs previously because she got kicked out of her brother's house. Her brother's sick of her shit, not paying rent.
Doing drugs,
coming home drunk, and he's just sick of her, knocks her, kicks her out. And so she sees the Cenobites, basically. And I think the first thing they said is that blade was meant for you, And they haunt her a little bit. Turns out the brother's like, fuck, she has this dream sequence, and the brother is waking up by fucking chains grabbing him. I was like, oh, fuck, that's crazy.
It was a gruesome scene as well already. I was like, damn.
The cinematography is great. Oh, and they start the series with a gruesome, torturous scene, that guy at the beginning getting ripped up in the mansion. But unfortunately, as he's trying to get his sister back to come to, he cuts himself on the box. Didn't see the box. So the Cenobites are free to go after him. And another thing that this film does with 2022 technology they couldn't really do previously is I love that the environments themselves start to go, and it starts to almost turn into a puzzle box itself. And that was a really great element to it. And it added that. So that happens in this gross, dirty, dingy bathroom. If I had an open cut, I would not be anywhere near this area. But he had to do it, and they take him. And so the film kind of has this subplot where she continues to fuck with the box, even though she knows that it's evil and stuff, because she wants to get her brother back. They kind of dangle her brother in front of her multiple times. Do you want to see him? Things. And they do a lot of voice effect on her and Cenobites. I was like, Joe, what did they say? Joe's like, I don't know.
The music is kind of loud too. But
and the music's loud. So yeah, maybe a little less with the voice effect, or at least turn down the music so we can hear them. But yeah, so they're kind of, goad her into continuing so that she can get her brother back. And go ahead and pick it up.
Yeah, and then they move on. They find they pretty much have no idea what this box is, and the Trevor plays completely dumb, and he's actually trying to stop her every step of the way. He's trying to stop this process.
And I think that is genuine. I think he does kind of like her, and he wants to be like, "Fuck this box, get rid of it."
Yeah, well, I mean, the way that the box works now, Trevor could solve the box, go homeless guy, homeless guy, homeless guy, homeless guy, and then it's just like, we did it. Now I've got a wish, and they can continue that process forever.
It's a wish you don't want, Alex.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's for the rich guy, and so like they meet the lawyer and she's like, oh no, that was my old boss's box. I want nothing to do with it. And when she's trying to wrestle the box away from it,
what are you talking about? Oh, the lady.
Yeah.
The lady at the beginning of the film.
Yeah, she's the lawyer. She's the rich guy, crazy guy's lawyer, and she gets cut. And then we get a kind of a crazy hospital scene.
Hospital scene. One of the Cenobites kind of passes her up, actually, which is weird.
Yeah,
it's the first time I've ever seen a Cenobite. She was the one cut, but he just kind of like looks at the dude. He's ready to die or something. I don't know what was going on there. Maybe they're attracted to death and suffering. attracted to suffering. That guy was suffering. But anyways, it's not like she gets away. In fact, she gets it the worst because as the place shifts, all of the Cenobites that she personally created by entrapping people in the past kind of show up. And then later you see a scene of these Cenobites as human beings that they had previous. It was like a gardens keeper and an assistant and some of these other people. And she's like, I'm sorry. And that ain't going to cut it.
Well, and they say something totally metal back to her. It's like, save that breath for screaming.
More screaming.
And it's just like, oh my God.
Save your breath for more screaming. Metal, you're right.
Yeah.
So they fuck her up. And so what's this? Riley needs to figure out what the fuck is going on. So because of the information she pieced together from the lawyer and learning about this rich dude, she ends up finding his place. And it is a cool-ass place. And we learn later on that he actually built it as a cage and has some power in it of itself to kind of keep the Cenobites out. Because at some point, they trap them, but then the Cenobites stop. And I'm like, just phase in and phase out inside the house. But no, I will give it to them that he's got a little bit of lore around his house.
And they couldn't even use her change. So.
True, right. And
you said
so
that
then,
too, because I was thinking, just use
just
your
go.
chains.
There's holes in it.
Yeah.
He's like, you can't use them. I was like, okay, all right.
See, I like the
guess
script
you-
doctor. It's like they could have
No.
just passed that up, and Joe would have
Why
been
not?
like, well, why not
Excuse me,
just use the
your chains and get
It's
the thing
no,
back.
May not use the chains. Well, anyway, go ahead.
Oh, you asked why not? It's like they can say like, oh, they can't do that, and I was like, but excuse me, can you just tell me why? Like,
Because
if there was a scene
They
where
don't need to go that far. It doesn't need to be a whole fucking scene
I just kinda-
explaining
But
the
this-
magic behind
But
it.
this is just a normal dude who built this house and he built like a metal cage, and I just want to know, it's like he discovered, he did something.
Yeah, because I honestly assumed, like, before you even said that 13th ghost.
Yeah.
Because, like, that
Oh, yeah, all
the
the things-
doors,
there was-
the doors have, like, little symbols.
But even
so
that
I
movie has a
assumed-
throwaway fucking line that makes sense, where he's like, oh, he covers these with spells and runes from all throughout history to make sure that these
But
ghosts
that's
can't get out.
I filled it in.
You filled it in for
yeah,
him.
I did.
I refuse to fill it in
I
for
did.
him.
Okay, so then we go on to she breaks into his house, and then that's when she finds all the lore stuff. Here's the configurations,
She sees
here's the
resurrection.
Cenobites, and basically directions. And then they decide to come up with a plan. In fact, Pinhead shows up to her and tries to convince her to kill her friends to get her brother back. And she's like, tempted for a minute, and she's like, I'm not going to do it.
Well, Pinhead stabs her with the box and says, I have your blood. At any point in time you fuck with me, I'll kill you instead of them. Now,
That's what I like, is that it's not just that exchange. But Pinhead is smart enough to be like, okay, no, fuck you.
Do thy bidding.
Do not fuck with me. And so she cuts it. So I'll come after you if you don't. So that gives it even more reason for her to do something, because otherwise we know she's not going to do it. But she doesn't want to do it anyway. She wants to be the good person. I'm not going to do it. So they come up with a plan, and their plan is what?
They're
Trap a Cenobite.
yeah, they're gonna trap a Cenobite using the doors, and then when the Cenobite gets in, they will stab it as the final offer.
Yes, because they proved that they can actually hurt the Cenobites, because previously, this is the scene that Alex was talking about, where the Cenobites do attack them because they attacked Riley, and they're coming after Riley. And in fact, it's shown the Cenobites will ignore you and your friends if they've got a target they need to go after. And her and her boyfriend are trapped behind a gate, and the Cenobite is pushing the gate, and the boyfriend is getting fucked up. He even gets bit by him. And she does a really fucking smart thing. It's like, okay, well, if this thing fucking takes the people that it grabs the blood of, bam, she hits Chatterer, and that's when Pinhead's like, God damn it. And then fucking takes the Cenobite. So then that inspires them to do the plan.
Another gruesome scene. Explosion.
Accepts his fate.
I'm curious. We also forgot that the roommate. There's a roommate character. There's a female roommate character, I think, named Nora or something like that. We forgot to mention, as they're exploring the house, her friends show up, including that character, to help her. And then they realize that the rich guy is still alive, Watt or whatever, and he is fucked up looking. They kind of hide him in the shadows. I'm like, what is going on? And when it's revealed, I'm like, that is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
That's so
What
creative.
he wished for.
Turns out that he wished for, because at the end, when you solve it, they give your choice between 5 different things, lament, love, something, Lazarus, sensation. He chooses sensation, which was the wrong choice because they're all wrong choices because the Cenobites will fuck you up. So this thing fucking flips around and then slams into him, and he will always feel.
Yeah,
it
rips his nerves through these gears at random intervals to prevent him from going numb. It's just like, oh, cool.
It's so cool. So he's hiding in this house, and he fucks up this one lady and stabs her to continue. So because he wants to get another wish, I demand another audience. How dare you trick me? And so then he's able to kind of capture some of these Cenobites when they put their plan into action. And I'm wondering if the Cenobite that came after them, because they let one Cenobite in, I wonder if that Cenobite is Nora. Do you think? Because it's fucked up looking, it's like her fucking skin.
I don't think
over her head.
I thought the Cenobites are only people who choose power.
Well, no. So no. Okay, hold on. Maybe. Well, what I noticed is I thought that I saw the Cenobite that was those pictures of the young people. I could have swore I saw one of the Cenobites looked like that picture. Okay, well, so you tell us whether that's the case, that those Cenobites are theirs, or if they are what happens later on. So they trick one of the Cenobites to come in, and luckily they're like, yeah, it's a slow one. We got this motherfucker. We can fuck around with it. But it turns out, no, it's a fucking trap.
So what are you doing? Stab it.
Another great moment.
Stab it.
Stab it, yeah. But she drops the box because she's an idiot, as often happens. Throwback to horrors. And then the gate kind of traps her. So she tells the boyfriend of her brother, who is also a part of this crew, to grab the box. He's like, the box isn't there. And then the rich guy Vought comes out, and as Joe pointed out, because Joe's like, "Wait a minute, wasn't that guy gutted before?"
Gutted was this. The blade's this big.
Yeah, but fucking sharp as
he
fuck.
shoved it, and then he rips him up. It was like a 12-inch fucking.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, 12-inch rip. So he's marked, and shit is hitting the fan at this point. So the Cenobites, that's when the boyfriend reveals his fucking, dastardly plan, because as he's passed out and they're doing other things, he comes in through one of the fucking secret doors in his badass box mansion, and he's like, you fucking idiot, you were supposed to do this mark a long time, this blah blah blah. And later on he goes, when the Cenobites are trapped in there due to our crew's plan, he actually opens the door, which simultaneously fucks over the Vought owner, but it also fucks over her brother's boyfriend, who has been marked by Vought. And so we've got I don't know what they call this particular Cenobite, but I'll call her the fucking wire lady, because she like starts ripping up her the brother boyfriend with a bunch of wires, and then it's kind of revealed as he's talking with Pinhead, Vought. He's like, you fucking tricked me, and now I want an audience with the Leviathan. And it's shown that these Cenobites and the Leviathan, they follow rules according to the box. And so one of them is, you can't take it back. He's like, I want to go back. She's like, you can't retreat. You can only go deeper into the levels, or we can make an exchange. Right, so no returns, only exchanges.
Terrible policy
at the store of Hellraiser. Only exchanges, no returns. So she uses this information, Riley, to save her brother's boyfriend by stabbing this motherfucker. Her boyfriend, who basically betrayed her.
This is all because of you. Fuck you.
Yeah, I tried to stop it. It's like, shut the fuck up. I'm so happy for her. And she stabs him. And then the wire guy comes after him. And that shit was crazy, Joe.
Yeah.
Like pulling his fucking
I
skin
hate when
off.
that happens. You've ever had to do that? Use baling wire and it pulls the skin all the way down?
No.
You never done whole hog? No.
We have never done
Damn,
that.
Joe. Alex, you skinning hogs with fucking wire?
No, you. Well, okay, never mind.
Anyways, So they do a cool exchange there. So they let the boyfriend go and instead fuck up this boyfriend who deserves it. Simultaneously, he's making a deal with Pinhead as Leviathan comes down and gives him an audience. I wish a little bit more with Leviathan, but we could set that up in the sequel.
Maybe in the sequel,
because Leviathan is supposed to be the god of hell in this particular universe. And it's argued with whether this is the Christian version of hell or just the Cenobites' hell, and they have their own kind of mythology and stuff, and it's different. I like that explanation. So, anyways, she's like, okay, we'll make an exchange because you never wanted sensation. You wanted, and he's like, I wanted power, and he goes with the final configuration, which is Leviathan. And so she grants that. While simultaneously, what else happens?
She grants the wish of the other girl. And I don't know why she grants the wish of the other girl. 2 wishes, 1 box.
Wait, what wish did get? Go ahead, Alex. Explain it, please.
So after she kills the fake the boyfriend who betrayed her, they've made all the sacrifices, and then the evil rich guy gets to cash in his wish, which is I'm going to exchange sensation for power. So all of this cool gold stuff falls out of him, and it's actually a really cool scene. You see all the guts.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
he gets all
yeah,
that
and then
shit
you
out
watch like his spine regrow,
that's right.
and the skin's regrowing, and they're really cool effects
Practical.
here. And then as soon as he's like, "Yes, I'm whole again," this giant fucking like ship chain goes through his body and yoinks his ass up into space. And it's like, oh, nothing's good's gonna happen to that guy. And then we cut away from him for a while. And then the girl tells the brother's boyfriend, "You go. I have to go make my wish." And she gets a wish too.
Right, because she has been cut. And what is so then she walks up to them and they give her, according to each of the configurations you can choose. And I'm curious what the other ones do. Lore people can
Well,
give
she
us an
stabbed
idea.
the guy, so she got an extra wish. 'Cause she stabbed
2
the
wishes? Okay.
guy. Yeah. That's what I'm going to
Well,
chalk
no,
it
it's
up
his
as.
blood. Because the blood went into the Leviathan.
Because he was already
so
done
technically,
before. It
there's
was
another
already
form.
done.
A Leviathan that's already been formed can get blood on it. It won't configure into a new form. It'll just, we're coming after you. Okay. All right. So, yeah, she does her wish, and she says, I don't want no wish. Fuck you.
Your wishes are poison.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, that's
smart
actually
idea.
the choice. And I love how it's so fucking simple, and it's like, it ties into what Alex said. These are people who are usually fucking greedy, usually obsessed, usually like power hungry. And of course they're going to be like, yeah, give me the money. Give me the thing.
Yeah, and I could see her little character arc as at first she was obviously obsessed. I want my brother back. I want my brother back. And then at
And
the
they
very
keep
end,
dangling him
it's
in
like,
front of her.
You could have him back. It's like, no, he's already dead. I don't trust you, fucking assholes.
And even more deeper and clever is Pinhead's like, oh, I like this because you actually chose suffering. You now have to live with the fact that you fucking killed your brother and you're a stupid idiot. And it's
kill all
a
these
fleeting pain because your life was very short. But you chose lament, and then they disappear. Now, you could do theories that they're not actually gone because the fucking boyfriend of the brother is like, did you choose right? And she's like, I don't know. So I like that. It's still left open. Then, unexpectedly, though very happily, we get the last scene. So we get to see what the fuck is ultimate power. What the fuck is the Leviathan gift? And basically, I think what's happening here is he gets turned in to a Cenobite, and for the first time ever, we get to see like the full-on process. Though we did see Pinhead kind of becoming Pinhead at one point, but it's just a really cool. I think it happens within the Leviathan and everything, and it could be construed as he becomes a god, and he becomes Leviathan's Cenobite version of Leviathan, and we can do a sequel.
He looked like an angel.
Or we could just say that he's just a simple Cenobite, because Cenobites themselves have powers.
Yeah, I wanted him to become I thought this is where they were going to write in the original actor, and like they were going to make this guy Pinhead, and then there could just be multiple priests, because like Pinhead's like one of the priests, right? Like there's the priest and then there's the lower Cenobites, because that's how the hierarchy goes.
Well, they do mention priests in here, but that wasn't really kind of brought up in some of the older ones. They're just kind of lieutenants.
Yeah.
But this one, they kind of did more like a religious. There's a priest and there's this and that. But yeah, there could be multiple Pinheads. Though I think, because Doug is older and he's done the role so many times, he probably didn't want to come back. And he's like, would he still look good in it? Is that what he wants to do? I think he would, but I was hoping that he would be Leviathan. You know what I mean? And so he can be up higher and that would have been fucking sweet. There's still an opportunity to do that in a sequel, but if he never wants to be a part of it, it's fine. It's his decision. But because this one's good on its own and it works out. So, doesn't have an after credits thing, but you could take that finale in two ways. That she's going to still be haunted by the Cenobites, and remember, it's always a trick, is what Vought told her. And she made a choice, so it could be a trick. And then the second thing is either is he just a normal Cenobite or is he a Leviathan Cenobite? And can he, sort of like what they did in Hellraiser 2, where the doctor, like the fucking Leviathan itself, slams into the back of his head with a tentacle, and it was kind of controlling this guy as a Cenobite Leviathan cross. Maybe that's what they were implying for the ending there. So, very, very good. Love the lore. Yep. Love discussing it. So fucking metal and cool. And like Alex said, it's long. It kind of drags in a few parts, but I think overall, because it does such a good job in the important areas, you can get over it. All right. That's about it. Did y'all guys have anything else?
No.
Some of these, some of them were named. The Weeper, the Chatterer, the Mask, but those are the only ones that have the, and then of course Pinhead. Those are the ones that have the thing. So, yeah, looking really cool. Premiered in Austin, Texas. Yay! All right. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.